Ladies and gentlemen, something unprecedented just hit Washington, and the panic is so intense you could practically feel it from across the country, because tonight we're talking about a political earthquake that just ripped straight through the heart of the federal government. The Supreme Court has officially greenlit President Trump's purge of the bloated federal workforce, and within just hours, not weeks, not months, thousands of federal employees started packing their bags, clearing their desks, and running for the exits. Trump fired everyone. This isn't speculation. This isn't rumor. This is happening right now in real time. And the trigger wasn't a scandal. This wasn't a leak. This wasn't a congressional vote. It was DOGE, guys. The Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, is pulling the pin on a silent operation that's been building for months behind the scenes. So a very coordinated strike is hitting agency after agency, exposing exactly who was loyal to the Constitution and who was loyal only to their ideology. EPA lawyers are suing, DOJ attorneys are reassigning, State Department staff are demanding injunctions, and the media, they're in full meltdown mode because they already knew exactly what this means. The administrative state, the same machine that spent decades resisting presidents, manipulating policy, and shielding itself from accountability, is finally facing a reckoning it can't escape. So stick with me, guys, because what is happening next, this will shake the country to its core. Hit the like button and subscribe. Folks, when the Supreme Court dropped their ruling on December 2nd, 2025, the entire federal government, they felt the ground shift beneath their feet, because for the first time in modern history, the court affirmed clearly, decisively, unapologetically that President Trump does in fact have the authority to restructure, reduce, and reclassify vast portions of the federal workforce. So no more endless injunctions, no more bureaucratic shields, no more union-backed legal shields slowing everything to a crawl. This ruling unlocked all the tools the administration had prepared for months: agency-wide hiring freezes, immediate Schedule F conversions, and the power to terminate redundant or politically entangled staff at scale. So this wasn't just like a legal opinion. This was the green light. This was the trigger. This is the moment the administrative state realized the rules had changed and their protections were gone. This is the moment Washington, D.C. panicked. So the ruling wasn't even 12 hours old before the exodus began. Federal inboxes lit up with resignation emails, security badges slammed on desks, agency HR offices were drowning in exit paperwork, and the reason is simple. These employees saw what was coming. At DOJ alone, career attorneys who once felt politically untouchable suddenly faced reassignments, performance audits, and even these Schedule F reviews. At EPA, analysts and grant managers, many aligned with activist environmental groups, they realized that their influence was evaporating. And at the State Department, whole clusters of staff began jumping ship just before being swept into the restructuring wave. But here's the part that nobody's admitting publicly, guys. The people that are leaving first, they were the ones who knew that their jobs weren't based on merit anymore. And once the first wave ran, the panic spread like wildfire across Washington. And before we go any deeper, let me tell a quick story that absolutely shook me when I first heard it, because it kind of shows exactly how fast things can go wrong when you just assume that you're protected. So a man walked up to the pharmacy counter expecting his usual $10 refill. They told him that the new cost was $164 because his Medicare plan changed and he didn't know. So he skipped the medication for 2 weeks because he couldn't afford it. 2 weeks, guys. Now that's the danger of not checking your Medicare coverage. Chapter prevents surprises like that before they hit you. Now, most people are already dialing the phone number down there at the bottom of your screen, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. There's a link down below. The phone number again is 909-563-8279. And speaking of real people, Ed wrote in and said, saving $684 a year. Thanks to Ron and Chapter, huge savings for an 84-year young senior on fixed income. Ed, appreciate you, man. Stories like yours really remind everyone that's watching the show that these aren't small savings. These are life-changing adjustments that protect dignity and independence. So while the Supreme Court was the spark, DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, that was the gasoline layered across the entire federal structure months beforehand. So what most Americans don't realize is that DOGE, or the Department of Government Efficiency, they had already completed these quiet audits inside nearly every major agency. They mapped out redundancy, political choke points, and ideological clusters that were basically shaping policy behind the scenes. And then, without ever stepping into a press conference, DOGE began tightening the screws, freezing the grants, reviewing contracts, delaying budget flows, and forcing agencies to justify their existence line by line. Inside Washington, DOGE became a whisper, a warning, a threat. They're coming. Congress couldn't stop it. Unions couldn't block it. Even agency heads couldn't slow it down. So when the Supreme Court ruling hit, DOGE was already positioned to strike every weak point at once. This wasn't chaos. This was choreography, folks. So before the federal purge became a national headline, it began quietly inside the DOJ Civil Rights Division. So when Assistant Attorney General Harriet Dillon issued her now infamous memo declaring that the division would protect all Americans, not just politically favored groups, the ideological core of the agency corrupted. Over 200 attorneys, they resigned in protest, not suspended, not reassigned. These attorneys walked out because enforcing the law equally was suddenly a problem. So that single moment exposed everything that Trump's team needed to know. The bureaucracy was never neutral. It was never apolitical. It was never just public servants. It was an ideological fortress, and Dillon's memo cracked the foundation. Those resignations didn't weaken the administration's plan. They simply validated it. And so every agency watching from the sidelines, they realized immediately that if DOGE's strongest ideological holdouts collapsed that fast, oh, they were next. And so then came the explosion at the EPA. This is the moment that Washington insiders finally realized that this purge wasn't an isolated DOJ event. It was spreading. After months of internal restructuring, several EPA employees were removed for what the administration described as insubordination, obstruction, and refusal to comply with new federal priorities. And what did those terminated employees do? Well, they filed a First Amendment retaliation lawsuit claiming that they were punished for resisting political interference. Reuters broke the story, and instantly, the media framed these staffers as martyrs. But here's what they're not telling you. These weren't whistleblowers protecting scientific integrity. These were bureaucrats who openly defied directives from the elected government. EPA's lawsuit is more than legal drama. This is a declaration of war. Because if EPA staff can sue to protect ideological control, well, every agency filled with activists is going to try the same play. So the EPA wasn't the end, it was the beginning. Within days, attorneys from the DOJ, staff from the State Department, and even mid-level officials at the Department of Education, they began quietly coordinating lawsuits and injunction requests. They're not filing to save their jobs. They're filing to stop Trump's restructuring altogether. These lawsuits follow a single pattern: claim political retaliation, argue loss of independence, demand court intervention to restore old authority. And yet, the Supreme Court ruling undercuts every one of their arguments. The president does have authority to reorganize the executive branch. The federal workers do not have constitutional protection from reassignment or termination. That's why these lawsuits feel less like legal challenges and more like the final cries of a collapsing regime. The deep state isn't suing to win, it's suing because it knows it's losing. And so now we need to talk about the weapon that's sitting at the very center of all this panic: Schedule F. President Trump reinstated it on day one, and Washington pretended not to hear the warning bell. But when the Supreme Court ruling landed, Schedule F transformed from a policy tool into a guillotine hanging over tens of thousands of federal jobs. So overnight, roles once considered untouchable, analysts, advisors, policy architects, senior specialists, they were reclassified as policy-making positions. So this means no civil service protections, no automatic appeals, no hiding behind unions or tenure. For decades, federal employees assumed that they were insulated from political oversight. Oh, we'll have jobs forever. We'll never have to worry about being out of a job. But Schedule F reminded them, you serve the government. You don't get to run this thing. This is why resignation spiked instantly. The people who thought that they would be shielded forever suddenly realized that the shield was paper, and President Trump just lit the match. And look, while we're talking about people losing protections that they thought that they would always have, let me tell you something that's actually happening right now. In fact, it happened right on my street last year. So my neighbor, nice lady, 62 years old, opened a letter saying that she owed money on a credit card that she had never opened. So she laughs it off at first, thought that it was a simple mistake, right up until the next letter came. And then the next letter. Turns out someone had been using her identity for 6 months before she even noticed. Now, this is the danger that most people don't see until it's too late. And this is exactly what LifeLock watches for: the threats you never see happening in the background. So right now, you can actually try it for free for 30 days and see just how exposed your information already is. So click the link in the description down below of this video and get your free 30-day trial of LifeLock today. Most people regret waiting. Most people check before those letters start. So while the headlines focus on resignations and lawsuits, DOGE has been executing something far more strategic. Operation Attrition, a sweeping agency by agency plan to reduce the federal workforce by up to 75% over the next 3 years. This is a massive firing. This is a massive layoff wave. It's a tsunami of layoffs coming. Now, here's the part that the media refuses to acknowledge. DOGE isn't firing most of these people. They're leaving on their own. The audits, the budget freezes, the suspended grants, the reassignments, all of it created an environment where the old guard simply just couldn't operate the way it used to. And as a result, more than 317,000 federal employees have already exited in 2025 alone. DOGE didn't break the federal bureaucracy. DOGE forced it to reveal itself. And once the ideological scaffolding collapsed, the entire structure began to fall in silence, exactly as planned. So as the workforce collapse accelerated, the old guard scrambled to build a resistance network. Suddenly, anonymous leaks began flooding the press. Concerned staffers, career officials, sources very close to the agency. It was basically the same playbook that they had used against Trump years ago, but this time it wasn't working. Why? Because their power centers are evaporating. Union leaders are holding emergency meetings. Activist attorneys are drafting memos begging judges to halt layoffs. Bureau chiefs are briefing reporters claiming democracy itself under threat. Wow. They're grasping for straws, aren't they? And major outlets, they're in full hysteria, insisting that the federal government is broken, not because it's failing, but because it's finally being forced to obey elected authority. This isn't a counteroffensive. This is a meltdown, the panicked reaction of a system that realizes the courts, the law, the Constitution no longer bend in their direction. Their greatest fear is now reality. The deep state is officially losing control. So here's what most Americans do not see behind the headlines. This collapse isn't coming from layoffs alone. It's coming from the loss of ideological gatekeepers who once controlled federal operations from the shadows. So when hundreds of DOJ's civil rights attorneys walked out, entire case pipelines froze. Think about the aftermath, the backlash of this, okay? When the EPA analysts resigned, regulatory reviews stalled. When State Department staffers bailed, foreign policy desks went dark overnight. These weren't random employees. These were the ones who shaped policy quietly, subtly, and often without oversight. And now these departures create a domino effect. Programs grind to a halt. Initiatives collapse mid-process. Agencies realize that they don't even actually need half the staff that they had. And that's the part Washington fears the most. The purge isn't destroying the government. It's revealing that the government was bloated, it was politicized, and it was fragile from the beginning. And once one domino falls, the rest follow real fast. So across the country, Americans are watching this federal shakeup like a national morality play, and the reactions couldn't be more divided. In the red states, people are cheering, saying that this is the most overdue cleanup in American history. They see bloated agencies finally being held accountable. They see Trump doing exactly what he promised, taking power away from the unelected ideologues and returning it back to the voters. But in the blue state strongholds and the activist circles, panic is setting in. Commentators are warning of government collapse. Bureaucratic insiders are calling it a constitutional crisis. And progressives on social media, they're acting like every resignation is the end of civilization itself. But what we're really witnessing is fear, not of destruction, but of exposure. Because once the public sees that the government still can function without these thousands of career activists, they'll start asking the one question Washington never wanted you to ask. Were these people ever necessary at all? And so now we reach the heart of the story. This is the part the media refuses to cover honestly. This purge isn't chaos. It isn't revenge. It isn't impulsive. It's a strategic redesign of the federal government. President Trump has been very clear. The real threat to democracy isn't the elections. It's unelected bureaucrats who manipulate policy, who obstruct presidents and operate without accountability. That's the real threat. For decades, the administrative state expanded into a fourth branch of government, answering to basically nobody. This purge is the course correction. Schedule F, DOGE, agency realignments, mass resignations, every piece fits into a single mission. Restore constitutional balance and strip politics out of the federal workforce, period. Trump's endgame isn't destruction, it's construction. Building a government that serves the people, not itself. And so now, with the Supreme Court greenlighting this movement, nothing can stop it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living through the most significant transformation of the federal government in a century. Agencies collapsing, lawsuits flying, bureaucrats resigning. This isn't the end of America. It is the rebirth of a government finally accountable for the people. So if you're watching this right now, You're witnessing history in real time, and we're just getting started. We'll see you next time.